There are calls on the government to withdraw a section of the criminal code which currently makes it legal for parents and caregivers to use corrective force or physical punishment to discipline children. On Thursday, NDP House Leader Peter Julian urged the government to repeal Section 43 of the Criminal Code, saying, "We call on the Trudeau government to put an immediate end to the corporal punishment of all children in Canada. Children are among the most vulnerable people in our society. It is time to take meaningful action to protect children and ensure they aren't being harmed by their parents and legal guardians." Julian says his call is in response to the Truth and Reconciliation Commission's call for action number 6, which also calls for the repeal of Section 43 of the Criminal Code, a section often referred to as the spanking law. Clinical psychologist Jay Greenfield says spanking doesn't work. It shouldn't be done, and he would also like to see Section 43 amended.
When you engage in spanking type behavior, you're modeling the same thing for your kids to do the same thing to other people, whether that's a sibling or a friend.
In Section 43, spanking is not necessarily a criminal offense. However, in some circumstances, spanking could still be considered child abuse. For example, spanking a child hard enough that it leaves a mark or bruise would not be considered reasonable force.
I think that parents need to be educated about the importance of connecting with their children to change behaviors.
Family therapist Donna Youngdahl says spanking a child can create relationship issues and behavioral problems down the road, adding spanking isn't meeting the child's needs or addressing why they acted improperly in the first place.
In order to help children change the behavior, that what they need to feel is loved, connection, good boundaries, nurture. And that the most effective interventions for behavioral issues is finding out what the underlying needs of the child are.
Youngdahl says removing the child from the environment that triggered the unwanted actions could help, but the child should not be left alone or isolated. Instead, she recommends having a conversation about how the child feels and why, and offering them coping strategies like deep breathing or redirecting their focus to a new activity.
We're not perfect parents. We all make mistakes. We all lose our tempers. But if we allow ourselves to be overcome by anger when our child is angry, we're not going to help the situation.
In Winnipeg, Mark Neufeld, City News.
In 1 minute.